Sorry, we've got 2 videos here today. With the great will in the best will in the world, nothing goes to plan, does it? But however, given you time to catch up, hasn't it? So here you go. So we're going to put our flowers together, as I said, and then I'm going to pop the centerpiece in there because I want that little gold one to go nicely in the center. Now ordinarily, as you know, I would then start moving my petals up and things, but the whole idea of the layered flowers is that all of the visual part of it is done for you, and you don't have to have this thick, deep image. It's all there for you with all these different layers. So I'm going to do another one, so I'm going to do the same again. So we start off with a light colour of the biggest one, and then I'm going to use a centerpiece for there, and then I'm going to grab myself another little corner center in gold. So each of the flowers that you will have will vary as to what you want to do with them, but the theory is exactly the same on all of them, that you layer them together, maybe just 1 or 2 layers, or in this case go to town and layer 3, 4. It's entirely up to you. And in this case I've just put them where the little stems finish, but if you've got something like this one, which is your cone flower, this is your stem, so obviously you can chop your stem about, so if you wish to elongate it, that's fine, but if you cut it out from the green card, which is the same colour both sides, you can of course then turn it around so that you have elongated your stem like that as well. The other thing about this is you must make thoughts of where you're going to put your flower, because if you put them together like that, and let's say that these were the flowers, they're not, but you would have to make sure that there was enough room for all of your flowers to go onto. So you may or may not wish to then push them apart a little bit so that you've got a bit more room. So you have to think a little bit about that sort of thing when you're dealing with them. So having got my 2 flowers on there, I'm then simply going to take a sentiment. Your sentiment is entirely up to you. I've gone with this one, which I'm just going to lay over here. I will put a very thin strip of foam onto the back of it so that it's got a little bit of a lift. Put an extra little bit of glue, and again the whole card is done, but you could wish to make it more so by putting some corners in if you have them, or if you don't, just ordinary gems and things like that, but it is basically done like that. So that's your first card there. Now for the second card, I'm going to use my cone flowers, which are these, and as I said, I've cut them out in the blue, which is a lighter blue on one side, darker on the other, and again I'm going to layer my flowers up. So that's my cone flower. But I just wanted to show you, before I do my cone flower, how we might add a little bit extra colour, and I'm going to do that with the hibiscus, but you can do it with anything. I'm just trying to show you all the different elements that you have in what choices you've chosen to have for your flowers today. I'm going to take a bit of scrap paper, and I'm going to take my 2 flowers. So this is flower number 1 and insert number 2 that goes with it, and as you can see they're cut from the same piece of card, if you can see, possibly can't, but you've got a slightly darker colour on one side and on the other. So if we're going to put a little bit of shading in ourselves, I'm going to grab a similar colour to what I already have there. So I've gone for the Briar Rose, And I've got a little blending brush here as well. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of my colour, and I'm going to take my second part, and I'm just going to go over the edges here, just on the corners, just on these little bits here, just to pick up the colour in those edges. Okay, so that when I put that together, we're starting to get a little bit of a different element here. Okay, now we can then go over these edges as well. So these will be of a similar sort of design. We're just adding a little bit of colour to these edges, and then this one will pick up on that nicely as well, just giving you that different feel. We've then, with this one, we've got extra pieces that go in the middle as well, so you can then start to put onto the middle piece as well. And then you've also got your stamen, which again I would choose a darker colour to go with the stamen, but that is all dependent on how you wish to do it. If you were going to take, let's take for example our tulips, so if we had, this is the two that go together here, so I've got a slightly darker yellow, and then I've got the lighter yellow that goes on the top, and for that one I'm then going to take an orangey colour. Okay, so I've got dried marigold here. I'm just going to take a very small piece of blending brush, pick that up, and for the one that's going to go on the top, so that's the slightly smaller one, I'm going to then add a little bit of shading just to the bottom of it. I can grab hold of it. Just add that. So if it's the tulips, that's where I would add my shading there, is just at the top. So this one is dried marigold, and this is the distress ink, and then those two would fit on there, and you've got that lovely shading starting at the bottom. You could also use your pens, so if I bring in a yellowy shade for these two that go together, I beg your pardon, no they don't, let's grab the one that does go together, this one and this one. When I say they don't go together, you can see that that pattern here has to have this pattern that matches, and then that will go straight on the top. But this bit down here, we can grab a yellow. Now I'm gone for a bright yellow. It's a bit too of a greeny yellow, isn't it? Let's go for go for this one. Might be too bright. No, I'm going to colour this whole piece, so you can see with the lines that there are colours to go in. So I'm just going to colour up to the lines, and this will give me even more definition of colour. So the two go together, yeah, like that. I had to think about it then, and gives you a different colour again. Okay, so you can add your colour, you can add it with the paper, and to be honest, with the paper is really all you need, but you can go further with your pens and your inks. So let's put our cone flower together. Now, as I say, I've cut that out of various different pieces, so I'm going to build that up slightly. I'm going to put one large dark blue, and then one large light blue, and then one smaller dark blue in the centre. Then I'm going to go over with some more So I've cut out some leaves as well. And I'm going to do in this case 3, so that we've got 3 flowers to work with on this particular one. As you can see, they go together really easily. And then with this one, we've got half a flower. So I'm going to use that as well. I'm going to put my glue at the centre and then stick that on the top. And you can see then that that gives you a lovely sort of, as if it's gone over the flower, which is a really nice one on this cone flower idea. And again, just show you again, a little bit of glue in the centre, just of that centerpiece, and then that sticks on there like that. Really, really pretty. So when it comes to our second card, we have, as I said, got our lovely vase. Now this is a hunky-dory vase, and the die set comes with this as one piece and then 11 different elements of flowers and leaves that you could make up to be your flower vase. And as I said, I did put on your little piece of paper that there would be 2, because what I thought was that we would be doing one like this and then cutting out another vase and putting that on top in a different colour. However, I actually thought that the colour green just lent itself really well, so I left it like that. If you're not happy with that, if you look at your vase shape, you can see quite clearly that there's a line here that shows you where the top of the vase is. So all you would simply need to do is, before you actually do anything with this one, is take your, let's say we wanted to do it with a brown piece of card. We would put that onto there. We would get our pencil, put it up at the top there, get our pencil, draw around it. That's obviously if you haven't got the die. If you'd have the die, you could cut it out. Draw around it. Chop that about, if your scissors hadn't disappeared off the face of the earth. Well, I'm not having a very good day here, am I? Welcome to the real world. Oh my goodness. Scissors, where are you? Let me just grab what I've done with the scissors. Oh, have a little chat amongst yourselves, won't you, for now? They're not where they should be. Well, we don't want to do a third video, do we? We really don't want to do a third video, so you'll have to imagine this one. We cut our little piece of paper out, and then you would simply just pop that over the top of it so that your vase looks like that. However, as I said, I think that this looks really nice as it is. Now, before I go to assemble it, I'm just going to take the vase itself between my fingers and just curl it round a little bit. I'm not going to touch the flowers, I'm just going to curl the vase around a little bit. And then on the back of my vase, once it's been curled, I'm going to put a piece of foam into the centre of my vase. Once, take that bit of foam off, and then put another piece right over the top of that, so that I've got a double height for my vase, so that having curled my vase round, when I go to stick it down, it will stay curled, because this piece will keep it up right there. Okay, so got all that assembled. Now we're going to take our second card blank and fold that in half, and then, as I said, you have got 2 pieces, a piece of gold and a piece of white. So that is going to go right onto the front of your card like that, edge to edge, but you have got 2 pieces on the side which are empty. So they are 9.5, this one is 9.5 centimetres, and this is sounding really odd, this is 9.5 centimetres, and to make it easy it's by 7 inches. Now that sounds ridiculous because I'm always saying don't mix metric and imperial, but in this particular case it works really well. And then this piece is 9 centimetres by 7 inches, exactly the same size. But it will give you just a little bit of border either side. So now we end up with what looks like 2 thin strips. Our beautiful vase is going to go into the centre. Now, when it comes to popping your vase in, I'm going to put some glue along these pieces, but not on the edges of the flowers. I want to make sure it's stuck, but I don't want to put it onto the, not flowers, onto the edge of the leaves there. I'm going to turn it round, and I want my sentiment to go down the bottom here. So I'm going to put that, leaving myself room for my sentiment to go in down the bottom, but you might want the sentiment at the top or whatever. So I'm going to then gently push down on the foam, because that's the sticky part, and then if you recall, I just put glue on the centre of there, so we've got glue on there. Now, so this is an arrangement really of all the greenery. So you have got the extra greenery if you wish from your flowers, but you don't really need it here, I think. And we're simply going to place our flowers, well, wherever we want to really. We can put our half flowers in. Let's put that one there. So we can add our flowers here on our imaginary stalk. We can keep on adding little individual flowers. So we might have some of the single flowers so that they're not made up. So just in this case, the single flowers, just so that you've got a little bit of something different going on. And it gives you that beautiful vase of flowers without any trial or tribulation whatsoever. Then I'm going to grab a sentiment, and I'm just going to put that one down the bottom there, and again I'm going to pop a little bit of foam, very thin piece, along there, because I don't want it to be in there flat. No, in actual fact I'm going to put some silicone glue on it instead, which is another way of you being able to add that if you wish. Now I'm thinking, do you know what? No, I'm not going to do that either. Goodness me. She'll make her mind up in a minute, won't she? I am going to put that straight down on there because I've got all of my focal point up there, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I've got my texture going on, my depth going on, and that one can go down the bottom there like that. But as I said, you can do however you wish. So the layered flowers are, as we said, different, each one of them. Some people have got the tulips and some people have got the hibiscus as well as these different ones. You can layer them up, you can keep them singular, you can add ink or other material, other blending inks and marker pens, that type of thing, to make it look even different. But the whole idea is we're layering them, but we're keeping them completely flat so that they could then go through the post, but they look as if they've got a lot of texture to them. So I hope you've enjoyed the 2 videos, and I do apologise for there being 2 videos, but there you go, these things happen. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again at our next workshop. Many thanks. Bye.